Joined now by UFC President Dana White, who's currently in Vegas before taking off to Dallas for UFC 211. And Dana, this past weekend, you said you lost your September 16th date for a fight between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. When's your next target date for that?
I don't have a targeted date for that now. That was the date that we were shooting for, provided we could get the deals done. And, you know, we're not even that far along in the process, so I guess I don't need to worry about the date anymore.
Okay, well, if a date can't be arranged in 2017, do you think there's any chance we see Conor fight in the UFC this year at all?
Yeah, Conor wants to fight. Conor wants to fight Floyd. Conor wants to fight twice this year. So, you know, we'll just have to see how this thing plays out.
Okay, well, a superstar showdown. A lot of people are very excited for that. Now, talking about timelines, last month in Buffalo, you did say we could expect a date for the return of George St. Pierre within about a week. Any update on that front?
Nope. Obviously, I was expecting him to fight this summer. That is not the case, so we'll see what happens. I know he recently came out and said he'd like to fight in November. You know, I like George St. Pierre. He's a great guy. You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Well, to some other Canadian news, the UFC recently announcing UFC 216 would be held in Edmonton. What made you choose Edmonton for this year's lone Canadian pay-per-view?
Well, listen, you know how I feel about Canada. I've said it a million times. Love it up there. Some of the greatest events we've ever held have been in Canada, and it's time for Edmonton.
Time for Edmonton. Love it. Now, looking ahead to this weekend, you have heavyweights in the main event. Stipe Miocic versus Junior Dos Santos. Dos Santos won their first match. That went 5 rounds. You expecting a similar slugfest this time around?
I don't know. It's interesting. You know, Stipe Miocic is a completely different fighter now. Since losing, you know, a close decision to Junior Dos Santos in their first fight, he's gone on and knocked everybody out. He won the world title by knockout and defended it by knockout. I think Stipe Miocic is a completely different fighter, and I don't see this going to a decision again. We'll see what happens.
All right, a busy weekend ahead. Dana, enjoy UFC 211. Thanks so much for this.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.